Hey, most of you know me as a tech show. I'm a CEO of the company forthelovestudio. And tonight's topic, and the reason why I'm speaking tonight with you guys, because I would like you to explain the difference between action and not action and planning. One of the things that I face trouble as an entrepreneur or the person who starts to do his own journey into fashion and this field of social media, for example, is that it's always easy to say than make it done, right? Because you always like overestimate your effort, you overestimate what you can done, what you can make. But the whole point of like starting the company and building the company is to understand that certain things takes time. Certain things takes time and they take a certain skill of resilience and grit, right? Because a lot of people like watching the videos, I think, and entrepreneurs also in the same field that I'm trying to develop my company. Just a small brief, I'm trying to develop my fashion brand. I'm still on this journey of like young entrepreneur, you know what they say. But one of the things that you guys also probably face is that you have this thing called uncertainty. Uncertainty is one of the biggest killers, right? Sorry for that. It's one of the biggest killers of success, because most people now in this age, they have to have certain certainty, right? They have to understand that, things will be smooth, things will be like on my way, things will be like the way I desire them. But this is not true, because you can't promise that the certainty will be there, right? You just gotta realize that you gotta go with certain uncertainty before everything takes place. Because if you just go with 100% certainty, you can't expect anything to work out. You know that, like as a journey of entrepreneur or like anyone who's trying to build a brand, you gotta understand this game of entrepreneurship, this game of the doing the brand, etc. It takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of grit and resilience. You gotta understand that it's not gonna be just like a fairy tale that you have in your mind when you like have the sweatshirt or you have the idea. It's not gonna work like immediately. You gotta put a lot of efforts, a lot of like invisible work, because a lot of people tend to claim in social media that oh, this is just overnight's work. This isn't true. Like, go with the uncertainty and put certain belief and certainty that this is gonna work. This is gonna work, and this is something that you put in. Because when you go with this confidence of that this is gonna work, there's no time for doubts and like hesitation. You'll just be all in. The second point I would like to draw your attention, guys, is that it has to be vision. I believe a lot of people sleep on that, and without knowing the vision, me as a young entrepreneur, like in my company at forthelovestudio, that's what I found out. That I really didn't operate from the frequency of having the vision. I was just mostly operating from the idea that, it will be a cool. But the problem with this being cool, rather than this being a certain concept, is that cool will just be there for a couple of years. Vision is what will make the brand be there for a long term, long-term investment, that's what they call, right? And the idea of vision is that the vision actually keeps you going when like nothing just works out. Like when nothing works out, it's always easy to say like, I guess it's not for me, or I guess it's not the way it should be. But this isn't true, because when you have certain vision attached to that, when you have a vision, the vision is something that can wake you up at a certain time and say that, now you gotta go and make it happen. Now you gotta make it happen for the certainty of that, your future kids or like the people are in the future gonna appreciate whatever you do. Because going without the vision and going with not having the vision behind this is basically like a shooting in the air, expecting the results to come. It's not gonna be like that. I'm sorry if it's like, like something that you don't want to hear. I'm just on the speaker, honestly. I would say the third point that I found out is self-belief. And I would also talk about momentum just in a second, but what is about self-belief? Something that I found myself being struggling at a certain point of my journey is that I have so much passion, I have so much desire to do things, but then when it comes to self-belief, sometimes I'm lacking, you know, sometimes I'm like, I guess it's not the best way to go about that. Like I certainly put I would say I put certainly some of the doubts on myself of doing the thing, right? Because I'm now estimating that it doesn't work. If I don't have self-belief, if I don't have like self-belief, it's really easy to things to go under the other way around, you know? Because without self-belief, it's just you lacking back and forth. So the idea about the self-belief is that to understand that, you know, you have this idea and you have this belief. So then just go forward with that. Don't hesitate on like thinking what is not gonna work, if it's not gonna work, if it doesn't gonna make sense. The problem with that doubts is that these doubts are put by your enemy Satan, right? If you listen to your enemy, Satan is not the best way to go for this. You know, the best way to go for this is to understand that self-belief comes from everything that you do. What people you surround yourself in the journey of like making the brand. What is like the empowerment you put on yourself? What boundaries do you have? You gotta be overprotective about that, because the minute you like go in different direction, the minute things gets worse, you know? So always remember about self-belief. Always remember that self-belief and empowerment, this is what makes you different. That's what makes you stand out. Otherwise, if you don't do that, if you're kind of lacking on this point of view, it's always hard to know what is the next step, you know? Always have this self-belief. And I guess the last one that I would put is there is just passion plus repetitive. A lot of this stuff that I do, one of the things that I found out is that it's always too easy to say that, you know, like I don't want to do the same task over and over again. I don't want to do it from the desire that I have. But what makes you keep going is that you have a certain passion attached to this. Like, imagine passion is something that been placed in your heart to do this, right? And if you sleep on your passion, that basically means that you sleep on your vision. So that's why even both of these things, passion and vision, they are both interconnected perfectly, because without passion there is no vision, and without vision there is no passion. These things like just a must-have for you in your journey, because when you understand how everything works, now you can make an analyzation of that. Why is like my vision is still there, but my passion is still slow. Understand that. Don't be so sleepy on the point of like having so much passion but not having so much vision. That makes you stuck. That literally makes you stuck, because when you don't have vision enough established, but you only have passion, I guess, my friend, nothing will change. And that's what I found out for myself, you know. And the reason I'm speaking to the camera and I'm talking with you guys, because I'm going through this journey now. And I'm inviting you to join me up on my Telegram channel to see how we can make this journey together, because, you know, if you don't have the mentor, you don't have someone who is following you, it's always hard to find yourself lacking, right? And once again, I'm not selling anything. I'm just saying you that I would like to build a community around all of us guys where we can make it happen together, but just understand these principles: uncertainty, vision, self-belief, and passion. So all these things are super interconnected. They are super interconnected because this is the foundations. When the foundations are built and the identity of you as a young entrepreneur changed, now you can make the difference. And it seems to be so complicated, like that, you know, you just gotta take different roads and etc. But it's always so simple to stay stuck in the same phase. That's why, like, take the immediate action of changing these 4 principles of uncertainty, vision, self-belief, and passion, and I just guarantee, like, the results will be coming. And that's what I have to say myself also at a certain point of stage where I was developing the project. Still developing though, but yeah, that's what makes me keep going. And I advise you to follow these 4 principles of uncertainty, vision, self-belief, and passion. And that will make a certain difference in your journey. So guys, thank you for watching that. For the Love Studio here we talk about all these things because we found it's important to do things for the love, and stay in touch. I'll see you soon.